thankful to the organizing committee of CPS to give me the opportunity to present my work here. And indeed, it's a well-organized conference, so congratulations. So I'm going to talk about parallel and rotational shear flows in strongly coupled dusty plasma. So here is the outline of my presentation. I will start my presentation with the introduction and motivation of the problem. Then I will talk about the models and the simulation method which I will use here to understand the parallel shear flows and rotational shear flows. In parallel shear flows, I try to tell you about vortex dynamics in presence and absence of shear heating using molecular dynamics simulation and fluid dynamics simulation. And in rotational shear flows, I will talk about once you take the Rankine vortex in MD simulation, how the vortex are how the waves are propagating, and what are the effects of strongly correlation and the screening parameter and all. And at the end, I will conclude my talk. We know that there are 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gases, plasma. So what decides a matter to behave like solid, liquid, or gases, plasma? So that one can decide it by coupling parameter, which is the ratio of potential energy per particle to kinetic energy per particle. You can see here the expression. When coupling parameter is much smaller than 1, then medium behaves like a gaseous medium or plasma medium. And when it is greater than a critical value of coupling parameter, then medium behaves like a solid medium and have the elastic property. But in between them, when the coupling parameter is less than critical value of coupling parameter, but greater than 1, the medium has a solid-like and liquid-like both the properties, and that medium is called viscoelastic medium. So this kind of medium can be understood because it has a solid-like and liquid-like both the properties. One can understand it by Maxwell model. They have so in this model they attach. It's not okay. So viscous dash spot with the spring. So this dash spot has a viscous property and spring has elastic properties. This viscous dash spot has a viscous property and the spring has an elastic property. So if we attach both of them in series, then we can do the modeling. So by Newton's law of viscosity and by Hooke's law of elasticity, we can make a model such that when you apply a stress, it will take some time to relax. Okay, so at the bottom there are 2 figures. The left side, there is a shear stress if you apply a regular fluid like water. When you apply a shear stress over it, then it will relax very quickly. And if the fluid is viscoelastic kind of fluid, then it will take some time to relax the shear stress, and that time is called relaxation time and represented by tau m. When tau m equal to 0, the medium is like a viscous medium. When tau m is not equal to 0, greater than 0, then medium behaves like a viscoelastic medium. So viscoelastic medium we can see in many places, from our kitchen to astrophysical scenarios. Like there are some examples: shampoo, conditioner, blood, ketchup, and human tissues, and synovial fluid which are present in our joints, and highly dense astrophysical plasma. In plasma, when there is an electron and ion plasma, then it behaves also like a strongly coupled system when it is ultra cold region. So because coupling parameter is inversely proportional to 1 over T, so inversely proportional to temperature. If temperature is very low, then it behaves like a strongly correlated system. All these are an example of highly dense system. So the question is, can we have some kind of medium which have a very low density, low temperature, but it still behaves like a viscoelastic medium? The answer is a dusty plasma. It's a when you have a micron or submicron dust particle embedded inside the plasma, it behaves like a strongly coupled system. because when you embedded dust particle inside the plasma, the dust particle, so because of high mobility of electron, the dust covered lots of electron, around 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 4 of electronic charge. And when the charge is too high, so you can see that it is directly proportional to Q square. That's why dusty plasma behaves like a strongly coupled medium. And this dusty plasma occurs from astrophysical scenarios, Saturn rings and man-made laboratories, and various kind of phenomena occurs in dusty plasma. For example, dust ion acoustic waves, shear waves, and two-stream instabilities, and vortex and nonlinear structures are formed, crystal formation. So many phenomena occur in dusty plasma. Here I want to understand hydrodynamic-like flows, particularly parallel and rotational flows. So how can I understand in dusty plasma medium? So there are several ways to understand. One can use generalized hydrodynamic model, molecular dynamic simulation, and experiments. My focus will be on generalized hydrodynamic model. So why generalized? Because the medium is now viscoelastic medium. If it is a viscous medium, we can use Navier-Stokes equation, but because of elasticity, we need some modification. I will talk about it, what are the modifications are there in the Navier-Stokes equation. So this viscoelastic, in general, if you want to simulate, there are various other models present, like Fennepe model, Old-Red-B model. But this generalized hydrodynamic model is successful in the sense it is observed that we can correctly get the shear transverse wave here in using GHD model. And other thing, I will talk about molecular dynamic simulation. And so what are these models? So left side is a GHD model. It's a continuum model. And right-hand side is the molecular dynamic simulation. What is a particle picture? So in GHD model, we solve set of fluid equation. First is the continuity, second is the Poisson equation, and the momentum equation. If you look at this equation, there is a tau m factor which decides how much viscoelastic medium is. So if it tau m equal to 0, then the medium behaves like a viscous medium. And if you increase the tau m, the medium behaves more and more viscoelastic. So here we solve the set of fluid equation. Other side, we solved particles, position and momentum. Simple, force equal to mass into acceleration, and force is minus gradient of potential. So we calculate the position of the particle and velocity of the particle at each instant of time. And once we know the velocity of the particle, we use the fluidization. And using the fluidization, we get the fluid averaged velocity and the vorticity. So after applying, so we use a parallel shear flow here, which is particularly Kolmogorov shear flow. It's a very important shear flow in the sense that it becomes unstable at a very low Reynolds number. Kolmogorov observed that when you take only n number of mode, for such, when you take n number of mode here, then this kind of flow becomes unstable at r equal to √2, such a very low Reynolds number, and it has a continuous profile in the velocity. And so if you have a very low Reynolds number, then it requires very less computational power, and we can resolve it very less number of grids. So here I have used n equal to 3 in parallel shear flows. So how can we generate such kind of flow in the labs? So on the left-hand side, there is an electrolyte fluid over this tray. There is an electrolyte fluid, and they put it over the combination of plus and minus polarity of magnets. They put it, and once the magnetic field, the current is applied, so because of Lorentz force, the fluid starts to move and parallel and anti-parallel direction. So at the top figure, A figure, there are some tracer particles. They put the tracer particle in the electrolyte fluid, and when the Lorentz force is started, then they can see the tracer particles start to move opposite to each other. How can we generate such kind of fluid in dusty plasma medium? So at the top, there is a side view of the dusty plasma experiment. You can see the dust layers are levitated over the lower electrode. Once you apply a laser opposite to each other, you can see at the bottom figure, so that is a top view. You can see when the laser beam applies, the dust particle starts to move in opposite direction. So if you use several laser, 1, 2, 3, 4 laser, then you can make such kind of fluid in the dusty plasma. So first we have considered the dust particles around 62,500 with a gamma equal to 50, kappa equal to 0.5. To do the shear flow study in dusty plasma, we first have to equilibrate these particles at a particular temperature. So first we have to attach attach the system to the thermostat, so that is canonical runs. And then we stop the thermostat, that is microcanonical run. So you can see the temperature is, gamma is there, 50-50. But once you once all the dust particles are at a particular temperature, then we superimpose the shear flow, Kolmogorov shear flow, and because it has some kind of velocity, some amount of velocity, that's why you can see the jump in the total energy. So there is a discontinuity in the total energy plot. So the total energy suddenly increase. So now at T equal to 600, the particle, now shear flow starts to move. And once it starts to move, there is a shear. So at the interface location, the particles start to collide with each other, and they can generate heat. Once they generate heat, at that time, coupling parameter, which is inversely proportional to temperature, start to decrease exponentially. So this is the picture of the temperature, total energy, and coupling parameter. So let us look the vortex dynamics once the temperature is increasing. So this T equal to 0 once the shear flow is superimposed. Now once the time is evolved, you can see the vortex dynamics. First, the perturbed mode increases at T equal to 250, 580, you can see the perturb mode, which is 2, starts to increase linearly. Then they try to make a nonlinear structure. Vortex start to, so nonlinear structures are formed, but at the same time, they start to collide with each other, and the interface location, there is a heat generated. And that's why you can see that vortex destroy if you wait for longer time. Okay, so now, if I want to make the comparison between MD simulation and fluid dynamics simulation, I have to suppress this heat. So the question is, how can I suppress the heat? So without disturbing the velocity of the particle, because velocity of the particle take care of the vorticity. This picture is vortex dynamics. So how can we do that? So there is a very novel method of thermostating that is called configurational thermostat. So if you apply that, so previously I used different thermostat, Gaussian thermostat, and now I'm using configurational thermostat. So this configurational thermostat suppress the heat. So it disturbs the position of the it changes the position of the particle. It takes the information only the position of the particle without disturbing the velocity of the particle. If you do that, then you can see these videos. So on the left-hand side, there is a no thermostat, and on the right-hand side, there is a configurational thermostat on. So now you can see on the left-hand side, because of the heating, molecular heating, the vortex destroys, but on the other side, the heating is very less. And you can see the vortex are sustained for a longer time. So now we are ready to compare with the fluid dynamics. So let us look at the temperature profile. So the symbols T equal to 0 to 1000, there are, so this is the temperature profile. So I took gamma equal to 50. So temperature is 0.02. So you can see the red symbol. So temperature is at 0.02 at T equal to 0. And now it is suddenly, slowly increasing. So now if you use configurational thermostat and see the line plot, you can see that the blue line at 0.02 temperature, and at all the time the temperature is from 0.015 to 0.03. Almost we are closer to our initial temperature. So after using configurational thermostat, we suppress the heat from the system. This plot is onset of instability. So you can see here we plotted the growth rate versus Reynolds number for different values of coupling parameter in the presence of configurational thermostat or in the absence of configurational thermostat, or you can say with the heat or without the heat. When gamma equal to 50, you can see that there is a blue color triangle, and so these are the lines at which the flow is stable, and suddenly you can see there is a point at which suddenly the flow becomes unstable. So it is called onset of instability, and that point is called critical value of Reynolds number. So critical value of Reynolds number above which the flow is unstable, below which the flow is stable. When we increase the coupling parameter, we observe that critical value of Reynolds number decreases. To make the comparison with the fluid simulation, we try to make the, so the non-dimensional parameters are Reynolds number, other are Mach number. So we try to keep both from MD simulation and CFD simulation. We make this non-dimensional parameter same, and other kappa equal to 1, and time is normalized with the same omega pt. So after doing computational fluid dynamics and MD simulation, here MD simulation with the thermostat. So heat is very less here, and now you can see the vortex structure. First, the linearly grow with the mode number 2, non-linear structures are formed. Here is the from CFD, there is no heating, completely no heating. And in MD simulation, there is slight heating at the interface location because thermostat can remove the heat from the system, not from the interface location. So there is some amount of heat present. So now you can see qualitatively the pictures are very similar from CFD and MD simulation. So this is a growth rate plot. So on the right-hand side, we plotted the energy versus time, and there is a linear growth rate with the MD simulation when the temperature is there, and when temperature is not there, and from the CFD. So we are seeing that the orders are very close. So CFD is little bit, growth rate is little bit high, but the orders are with the thermostat, and without the thermostat, the orders are very close in CFD. Then we changed the Reynolds number and calculated the growth rate for different values of Reynolds number, and observed from CFD and MD both that the critical value of Reynolds number occur, above which the flow becomes unstable and below which the flow is stable. And for higher, so lower value it's fine, the lower value of Reynolds number is fine, but the higher value, the CFD and MD results are diverging. So we calculated the growth rate from this formula. Now let us move for the rotating fluids. So some motivation about it. So dusty plasma has various kind of waves, transverse shear waves, longitudinal shear waves, dust acoustic waves. So there are various kind of fluid waves exist in dusty plasma. So transverse shear waves can be understood by numerically, theoretically, and experimentally. If we have rotating fluid, so if the fluid is rotating, they support inertial waves. These waves always occurs in astrophysical scenario, oceanography, and industrial flows. But the less attention has been paid for the inertial waves in dusty plasma. So here we are going to understand it. So these are some kind of waves in dusty plasma. So when you apply, so there is a dust bed or grain bed in the high coupling strength. So when the laser is applied, so dipoles are formed, And other picture is when a high beam of laser is injected in the crystal of dust. So you can see the transverse propagation of waves, and this is the velocity plot. That is the Mach cone generation in the dusty plasma, shear wave generation dusty plasma, and these are some transverse shear wave using fluid dynamics simulations. So this is the Rankine vortex which I used here in MD simulation. So the profile of the velocity, it will linearly grow till the radius of the vortex. So it will Rankine vortex, so it will linearly grow, and then 1/r fall. So if you take the vorticity, it is constant till r, till the radius of the vortex, and then it is 0. So if we take this kind of vortex in molecular dynamics simulation, then what will happen to the vortex dynamics, we will see. And what happened to the waves? So we will see the effect of various kind of velocities, and then we see the effect of strong correlation and screening parameter. So this is the vortex plot. So you can see at t equal to 30 and t equal to 60, for very small coupling strength 9 to 110, you can see there are very minimal, or you can't visualize it. It's a very small changes. So you can't visualize it here. So we can see the insensitivity of the coupling parameter. So if you take a very low to high coupling parameter, the vortex in the wave formation and the vortex, we can't see too much difference. But if you look at the different values, so on the right hand side, we fix the velocity, and you can see the particle picture of the wave. You can see that particles are starting to move and going towards the boundary. Okay, so t equal to 1 to t equal to 10. Now other side is the plot where the velocity is from 0.1 to 3.5. When the velocity is too small, the vortex is rotating with a too small velocity, then we can't see the wave generation. But if you have a certain amount, large velocity, then you can see that now the vortex, this wave starts to move like 3.5. Here it's a 5, I think. So it's a very nice plot in 3D. So you can see here, so time versus x-axis. So we plotted at at particular y location how the velocity is changing. So Vx we have taken absolute, and you can see when coupling parameter is very 0.5, the wave propagated very fastly and moved towards the boundary. And once we increase the coupling parameter, you can see the wave starts to move very slowly, and the width, the amplitude is also increasing. So if we take the amplitude only and plot it with Mach number, so this is the picture when you take amplitude and Mach number. So here we have taken U0, different values, so that our Mach number will change. CL is fixed for gamma and kappa. And then we can see when Mach number is very small, then the amplitude is very small, and suddenly when it crosses m equal to 0.35, m is equal to 0.35, then you can see the amplitude increases. That is the critical value of Mach number, below which you can see minor changes in the waves, but above which you can see the amplitude in the waves. So this is the transition from weak compressible to strong compressible limit. And so now I want to conclude my talk. So in parallel shear flows using MD and CFD, using configurational thermostat, we suppress the heat from the system. And now the coupling parameter strength at the initial value with some small fluctuation. And it is found that vortex sustained for a longer time. And we observed that critical value of Reynolds number above which the flow is stable and below which the flow is stable, above which the flow is unstable, both from MD and CFD, that is called laminar to turbulent transition. And in rotational MD simulation, we found that this wave generation is insensitive to the coupling strength. But as you increase the screening parameter kappa, then you can see that the amplitude increases and the speed decreases. And there is an existence of critical value of Mach number, below which you can see the incompressibility. Because of incompressibility, there is a less amount of amplitude, and above which the amplitude is measurable. So at this point, thank you.
Thank you, Akanksha. So thank you very much for very insightful and very well organized talk. So the talk is open for questions, discussions.
Hello, my name is Satyam Singh. I am from SUNIT Surat, and I am a master's student. And my question is like, I didn't understand the Mach number. So what is this Mach number and how it is used here?
Okay, so Mach number is the ratio of velocity of your object divided by sound speed of the system. So sound speed for a given gamma and kappa is fixed. So to change the Mach number, I change the velocity of the vortex. Yeah.
Hello ma'am, I'm Farida Batul from IIT Jammu. My question is that how in the fluid simulation you are choosing the coupling strength and comparing the result with the MD simulation at gamma 50 R?
Okay, yes. So your question is, let me repeat it. Yes. So your question is, what is the coupling strength I used in CFD?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a relation, so gamma and kappa, there is a relation between for tau m. We have picked the value from, there is a paper from Ashwin Joy in 2015. We have taken the tau m values from there for a particular gamma and kappa values. So gamma and kappa is written every time in each slide. It's a 50 and kappa is, I think, 1.
Hello, myself Abhishek Yadav. I am from CVS Mumbai. I have one basic questions for MD simulation. What kind of force fields do you use for this plasma simulation in MD?
Okay, so it's a Yukawa potential. In general, we know that if there is a charged particle, they interact via Coulombic potential.
Right.
But if the particle has some kind of screening over there, because dust particle has a screening of the electrons, so we cannot use the Coulombic potential. So we have to use the screened Coulombic potential, that is called Yukawa potential or Debye-Huckel potential.
And what software do you use for MD?
So it's our in-house code, MPMD. More details are present in, I think, 2011 paper of Ashwin Joy. So that MPMD code we have used.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Ma'am, you are using the dust particles, right? So if you are using like neutral particles in this simulation, or like what? Positive or negative charge particles or neutral particles?
But Newton particles cannot be simulated by the Yukawa potential. We have to change it. So if there are neutral particles, so there is a Lennard-Jones kind of potential. So that we can use it.
So if we are using charged particles, then we can play with the magnetic field, so we can change the profile of the waves generated, right? So we can balance the magnetic field profiles to play with the waves profiles and everything.
Okay, so we did not simulate the ions and electrons here. We consider only focus on the this dust particles, because the time scale is quite different in dust and electron dynamics. So we did not consider the other fluid present in the medium.
So are we using magnetic field in these simulations or like non-magnetized?
Can you repeat again?
Are we using magnetic field or non-magnetized system for
It's
this?
a non-magnetized system,
Non-magnetized.
no magnetic
So
field.
if we introduce magnetic field, then
the things will change.
Right?
Yeah, things will change, obviously. So the forces, we have to incorporate the Lorentz force and all. Then only we can handle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello ma'am, firstly congratulations for the great talk. It's Nidhi this side from IPR. I think my question has been answered partially in the previous one, but still I'll ask it. So I know it is difficult to magnetize the dusty plasma experimentally, but hypothetically if we could, so how the Mach number, like that is 0.35, so how that will change, like it will increase or decrease, how the behavior will change?
Yes, yes. So there is two kind of Mach number will come. One is because of the magnetic field, and other is because of the regular fluid. At this point, I have to think about it. So, okay, so I will think about it and will discuss with you.
Okay, ma'am,
Yeah,
sure.
So there is
Thank
a
you.
two kind of Mach number will come.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, so let's thank Akanksha again for a wonderful talk.